Welcome back to the Radio Horror YouTube channel. Today we're talking about the brand new Zack Snyder directed and written and cinematographed film, Army of the Dead, which is kind of a spiritual successor to his Dawn of the Dead remake. You could say they take place in the same timeline. Who knows? They never explained where the virus came from in Dawn of the Dead. In this, we get the virus explanation right from the very beginning, sort of. And to talk to us about this brand new action horror movie, emphasis on the action part, with Guardians of the Galaxy's Dave Bautista as our star, we have Cati the Blonde in front of here.
Hey, creeps. Yes, it's Cati the Blonde in front of here to talk to you about Army of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder, written by Zack Snyder, Shay Hatton, and Joby Harold, and starring Dave Bautista, Ella Purnell, and Amari Hardwick. Like many zombie films, the military is involved, and we see this in the beginning. Now, one of the things that I was a little surprised about, though, is that a certain Zack Snyder staple in a lot of his films, Michael Cassidy, who plays Sergeant Kelly in the film, was also Jimmy Olsen in a very short-lived Jimmy Olsen in Batman versus Superman, and he was in that. So he was in Army of the Dead. So I'm wondering if he's going to be in a number of other Zack Snyder films. But I thought he would have been more in the film, and spoiler, he was not. One of the things I like about this film in the beginning, very similar to Zack Snyder's Watchmen, you get the story of how everything started right from the beginning with no dialogue. Pictures say a lot. And one of my favorite characters of the film, who, again, when you're talking about pictures say a lot with no words, her name is, sorry, I'm looking her up. I gotta find her. Danielle Bergio, who plays the soccer mom. Now, I was invested in this performance at the beginning, and I don't know, it just came out on Friday, May 21st. I want to give you time to see it, but let me tell you, she was absolutely incredible, and I hope to see her in more things. Now, Dave Bautista, giant guy that he is, plays Scott Ward, and he gets his daughter out. He is living on the outside of Vegas because once the zombies take over, they basically hole up, like, I think it's 27 miles or 72 miles of the city. And he is now, after helping a general get out, getting a Medal of Honor or some sort of recognition by the military. He's flipping burgers in a little diner. So someone comes up and says, hey, there's $2 million in a casino, in a vault in one of the buildings. If you get it, the insurance company already paid me. I will give you $50 million and you can split it however you want. So the crew that you see in the beginning of the film then goes back inside Vegas, and that is where the action happens. Now, there's going to be some people who are going to say some different things about the film. Was it the greatest? No. Is it a little long? Yes. It is 2 hours and 28 minutes. At the same time, though, I'm going to go to the end. The ending just felt like it was thrown together. You've got this high-polished, big budget film by Zack Snyder, and then the end honestly seemed like I was watching something from the Sci-Fi Channel. Sorry, Sci-Fi Channel, I love you to death, but it's not a Zack Snyder film. And then it was kind of thrown together. I'm not exactly sure why, but let's get back to the middle. Damn those fight sequences. I've seen some stuff in different films, in war films, in fight films, anything like that. These were some of the best stunts that I have seen in a film in a long, 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 long time. And one of the best performances in the film, again, was by a female Samantha Wynn, who plays Chambers. She goes in not having killed a single zombie. Let me tell you, kids, you would not know that by what she does when she gets inside that building. It is phenomenal. You're going to root for these characters. You're going to want these characters to live. I'm going to spoil it for you. Don't put too much money on any of them. I'm going to let you know. And there are a couple things about that really piss me off because there are ways that I feel like some of the characters were just like killed off for no reason whatsoever. I've watched this movie probably 3 times to prepare for the review. The one that I was very attached to, that had one of the best fight sequences, I feel like they just gave this character up for no reason. It was very obvious that they could have saved this person and they didn't, and I don't know why. There's also the antagonist that is very obvious. Give it up for the stunt teams. Now, definitely, the film definitely has a few messages. Like, it says a lot about people in internment camps and people who are, taking care of them in those camps. And I felt like that was definitely a nod. Zach wanted to make sure that he got in there. There's little nods to classic horror films like American Werewolf in London, Night of the Demons, and Alien or Aliens. I just talked about the ending. The ending was, it just could have, I don't know, it seemed cheap. It didn't seem like it may have just like given up and all that stuff. Tig Notaro is absolutely amazing. Her character was put in due to a Me Too movement, and good for her, because honestly, she was one of the best parts of the film. She plays a pilot. She's also kind of the comic relief, who is fantastic, and I want to see her in so much more. The music was kind of hit or miss. They had the original songs played by the original, people that were great. The covers of some of the songs were they
terrible.
Yeah, they were really, really bad.
I don't understand. You can pay for Elvis, but then you can't pay for Elvis. I understand Elvis is whatever you call it's not called a filmography, but you know what I mean. The word is escaping me, but you know what I mean. Tracks of songs can be expensive, and the covers can be cheap. But it's like either do one all or the other, because whoever's covering Elvis Presley should not ever cover Elvis Presley. I'm sure they're a fine singer any other way. They have a beautiful voice, but don't do Elvis if you can't do the King. And I was so happy that they got the Cranberry Zombie, because I was waiting for that song the entire film.
That I thought was kind of cheesy at the end. But
really?
I also loved that it was the Cranberries. I think Dave Bautista needs to lighten up a little bit on the Botox. Love him to death. Thought he was great when he yelled at his daughter. That actress had to have known that was coming, because believe me, this is a big guy, and if he's raising his voice at you, you got to be prepared, because I probably would have peed a little. So there's some other things that we got to talk about. One, Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg noted that the zombies seemed a little bit more during like modern dance when they were moving around and all that stuff. And he said, they are in Vegas, so these could all be people that were in Cirque du Soleil. The more that I've watched it, I realized, you know what? He's got a damn good point, because Vegas has a lot of tourists. And I just noticed, like, unless these zombies are having a way to, like, slim down 24/7, the zombies are very, very fit. And, marathon runners and whatnot. But again, these are people who were in Vegas shows, Cirque du Soleil. So hearing that, I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense to me, that maybe these are Cirque du Soleil. Because, they were doing flips and back springs and all this stuff. This is not your grandpa's zombie, let me tell you. This is not the slow and, all that kind of zombie. They were freaking, it's not really World War Z zombie, but it's a whole different breed, because they call them like alpha zombies, because they can think. They also apparently can cry and do some things that, again, zombies in the past cannot do, which really doesn't make what sense, because the thing with the zombie is that it's supposed to be dead flesh. So I don't want to spoil it, kids, but there's something that doesn't, quite add up to science. And as I lead into that, let's talk about some other things.
Because that was in his other film, Katie.
But who here has seen Chernobyl? If you have, you kind of know how radioactivity works after being exposed. There's some certain things in this film that, look, I know it's a movie, okay? I know it's a movie, but this just doesn't make sense. Also, the gestation of bites, what's the point of doing all of this and then you have an ending like they did? I liked the film up until the end. I honestly did. I thought the practical effects are great. I thought the freaking kills were incredible. They have, I'm going to spoil it, they've got a CGI tiger. They have a CGI tiger from Siegfried and Roy, which was so Vegas. I thought they did a great job, showing Vegas and everything. I don't understand why they kind of give us a hint of something regarding the zombies, that when they get wet, watch what happens, and then sort of nothing happened with that, unless maybe I slept through that, but I don't know why they led into that, and then nothing really happened. But these are definitely different zombies than we have seen in the past. They have a little bit of some smartness to them, sort of like I Am Legend smartness, but yeah, it wasn't totally horrible. Again, I think the main thing that Zack Snyder was trying to do, though, this was a love letter to, I think, his daughter that committed suicide, because there were a number of scenes with parents and daughters trying to save them, doing the right thing, having these conversations of like why they did what they did, and they want to make sure that they can, be better and do better. And I think that was the main point of the film, that I know that had to be hard for him. That's what I saw a lot in different things. So when you go in and watch this, know that this is a guy who, went through hell for a number of years after the loss of his child, and he made a pretty damn good zombie movie. It's not the best. Again, the ending, I feel like, kind of lost it, but I mean, they have some fantastic characters that I would like to see in different films. Like I said, Samantha Wynn as Chambers, Danielle Bergio as Soccer Mom, Tig Notaro as Marianne Peters, and Nora Arnazar as Lily, the Coyote. She was fantastic. Amari Hardwick as Vanner Umro, and Matthias Swider. I'm messing up his name. Swider as Dieter. These are characters. I mean, that's one of the hard things about this, is that you get attached to these characters and you don't want something to happen to them. Unfortunately, don't bet on that. Bet on the Z and not on the humans when you're watching this film. But I would say see it if you got 2 hours. Just make sure you have some Red Bull.
Yeah, this film kind of dragged on. I think about half an hour could have been cut out of it. I didn't think it didn't lose me to fall asleep at any point during the film, thankfully. It's definitely not as long as the Snyder cut of Justice League, or as Batman vs. Superman, as R-rated version. But it definitely feel like the pacing of it needed to be trimmed, and just a chunk of it could have been cut out. The smart zombies we've seen before, if you saw Land of the Dead by George Romero, so that wasn't too far of a stretch. Also, they kind of revealed that in the trailer as well. This film's CGI backdrop to show us what the destroyed Vegas was supposed to be was extremely well done. I didn't lose anything with that. Every one of the characters was given like a build up for an hour, because I looked at the clock. It was 55 minutes into the movie when they finally open up the boxcar to get inside Vegas. So they definitely like built the film's backstory up a lot, which is fantastic. How it opens up Don't ever do that with your partner, people. Letting you know right now, that is exactly what's going to happen. You will lose control of your car and die a horrible, miserable death. Have you ever seen American Gods, Katie?
Yes.
Didn't that happen on American Gods?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I was like, oh God, where are they going with this? Oh God, they went exactly where I thought they were going with this.
And in the world according to Garp.
Yes. Excellent reference. Thank you. You know, I thought for a minute there that I do like the fact we just get the super zombie immediately, and it causes the problems with the soldiers, and they go right to Vegas, and then hell starts breaking loose. You get a lot of what we've seen in other zombie movies with, like, you know, Vegas zombies, like Resident Evil did it a little bit, and Shaun of the Dead, and so on and so forth. And I did like the humor banter between the characters when they were trying to break into the safe. I thought that was a lot of fun, especially when they were trying to figure out the pressure points and where, like, the safe was booby trapped. Very Shaun of the Dead, so it definitely a great sense of humor there. The music, as we talked about, is hit or miss. What?
That scene with the vault was kind of confusing to me, though. I mean, I loved that they were doing. I felt like he was doing like a nod to Raiders of the Lost Ark with that.
Maybe,
At
yeah.
the same time, it's like, I'm sorry, do they actually have those booby traps in vaults in like modern times, like in things like Vegas with stuff like that? I'm like, really?
I'd have
what
to.
If somebody?
I gotta call somebody
know.
I know who works at a Vegas casino to ask them if that is true or not. Maybe they can't tell me. I don't know. I'll have to see what the response is. She works in the cashier's office at a casino, so I'm sure she has to go to the vault sometimes.
Yeah.
Haruko Yuki Sonata is completely wasted in this movie, especially after you saw him in another straight to streaming movie called Mortal Kombat, where he played Scorpion. The guy can fight. The guy's a good actor. He was also in The Wolverine, the one where Wolverine goes to Japan and fights the hand, or fights the equivalent of the hand for that movie. Completely wasted in this movie. I was like, oh, when I finally figured out who he was, I was like, he does nothing. He sets up the plot. You could have cast anybody in this role. Why him? The guy is a trained fighter. He should have gone to Vegas with them and, like, done some kung fu on the zombies, which would have been fantastic. He probably would have gotten killed, but still, I would like to have seen him do some kung fu on some zombies, because everything is IMDb. He is a master swordsman and martial artist, and, you know, he knows his stuff. I cheer him on when I see him in a movie. So kind of a waste. Everyone else in the movie I thought was pretty good for cast. Katie said it, don't get too attached to anyone in particular, and you'll have a better experience for the movie. I absolutely love the poster. Very colorful with the slot machines and everything else. That's all I have to say about it. It's on Netflix and playing in certain theaters, I think. Not playing in any theater around here, but it's apparently playing in theaters as well, because this was supposed to go in theaters. And
it's playing in theaters in Chicago.
It's playing in theaters in Chicago, which means it's probably playing in major cities. Maybe not Boston. Boston sometimes is a major city and sometimes it's not. Probably New York. I definitely know California is finally opening back up, so it might be playing there. Check out the rest of the reviews here on the Radio of Horror YouTube channel and on Katie's page, The Blonde in Front on Facebook and Radio of Horror on Facebook. And we'll be back in another week or so with another exciting review from the Katie the Blonde in Front of here.